Hello, welcome. This is Messages on the Move, another Message on the Move. I'm Aziz, Mr. LoveSnobs.
I'm Jerry, Miss LoveSnob.
And we're going to discuss the reality
of going into business with a friend.
Obviously, everybody always talks about the hardships of mixing business with pleasure, and obviously the friendship. And we can't sit in and say it's easy, because our friendship takes a hit, because when we have business issues, it could trickle over
to everything else.
to the friendship. And if we have friendship issues, it can trickle over to the business issue. But the thing is, when your business is your purpose and your business is your friendship, and you're dealing with building relationships, it actually makes you accountable for actually seeing if you're prepared to actually help other people and assist other people with their relationships by using some of the tools that we ask other people to actually execute. Thank you.
So yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of communication. It takes understanding what both parties truly want, and also my biggest struggle was knowing that, understanding that we had different work ethics and we did things differently. Like the way that I work and the way that Aziz work is totally different. And that was something that I struggled with, because just because he wasn't working the way I was working didn't mean that he was working any less. And I think that that's one thing that I struggled with in terms of, I'm a tasker. I have a to-do list. I'm checking everything on to-do list. Aziz is not that guy. So
I'm the creative guy.
He's the creative person. So
laid back.
Yeah.
And we're not going to say creative. I'm more proactive.
Yeah.
You do create lists, which take being proactive.
Yeah,
but I'm more of a proactive, long-term thinker. So she's doing lists of what to do today. I'm doing lists of what to accomplish for the long haul. So I'm moving at a pace. She wants to get everything done in that day. I'm moving at a pace how can we now have a foundation that's actually going to allow us to maintain the business or maintain the friendship for a long run, right?
Yeah.
So I think when we got into business, we really didn't look at who each other was as friends, like what works for the friendship, because I can move at my own pace, she can move at her own pace, and we necessarily don't hurt each other's progress when it comes to the friendship, because we're not romantic partners, so being friends, all of that's not always intertwined.
Yeah.
But now being business partners, which is kind of equivalent to being a romantic partnership, yeah. You know what I mean? It's more intimate. So therefore you have to be aligned a lot than you would possibly as a friend.
Yeah.
And I think that took some getting used to. Even though, younger we had a partnership, younger we were romantic partners when we were a lot younger, but obviously we haven't been in that space for about 20 years. So
yeah, I think that was an issue. I think also I'm innovative in a totally different way than Aziz is, right?
Let's talk about how you didn't feel you were innovative.
Well,
and I had to now,
that's another
inspire her to actually see that the reason why you came on, the reason why we agreed to be partners is because obviously you had something we brought to the table, and innovation was one of them.
Well, I didn't think. I want to finish what I was saying. What I was saying was that I'm not a risk taker, so I guess innovation is separate. So yeah, we could touch on that. But what I really want to say was that I'm not a risk taker. I've never been a risk taker, and Aziz is. And finding that, I wouldn't even say balance, but that common ground within that space, and getting me outside of my comfort zone. Because in order to run your own business, in order to get your own business up and running, you have to take a risk. And if I don't see it, I don't want to do it. And Aziz is doing it, whether when he sees it in his mind, he's already doing it. Me, I have to take baby steps to get there, and there was no room for that in the business. So that
I don't know if it's risk taking, isn't it lack of?
It's lack of faith, but that's still lack of faith. You don't want to take a risk.
Yeah, but lack of faith is, but you take a risk when you have money and you purchase something. You trust that the person,
you trust that the product is going to get you,
whatever. So you can't touch, fill a hole. Anything you can't touch, fill a hole, you lack the faith.
Yeah, I lack the faith.
So what I'm saying is you did lack faith, but at the end of the day, it's not risk taking, because if the person, like anybody that is an innovator, anybody that sees, that's a dreamer, anybody that sees the product before it's actually a reality, and that they believe and they have a strong faith in whatever they're putting forth, I don't even know if they're taking a risk or they see it as taking a risk because they actually see it as so.
Yeah, I guess. Well, see, as you can see, that's the disconnect right there. Like,
definitely.
So it's me not have like lack of faith. If I don't see it, I don't want to do it. If it's something that's gonna take me all the way outside of my comfort zone. Like if you throw me into the deep end, I'm gonna figure out how to swim. But if I have a choice to go into the deep end, I'm gonna go into 3 feet, then 4 feet, then 5, I'm gonna take my time to get there.
Definitely.
And you are more of the pull the band-aid, like you all the way into, you know what I mean? Like
definitely,
if you say you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it. Yeah.
But I already seen the risk. I already seen that it's not a risk to swim in the deep end because I know how to swim, I know how to doggy paddle, I know how to. So like, yeah, those things can happen with great faith that you're gonna actually get to the deep end and then get back to shore. It's not really a risk because you already
have the tools in place to do so.
You already assess the risk.
So I think
it's about being proactive. It's about thinking long term, and obviously we're in a relationship building. We're into relationship building, so that's a faith in its own. Because when you sign on for a partnership or you sign on for a friendship, you have to believe that it's going to last.
It's going to work. Yeah, that's the whole point, right?
For life, you know what I mean? Like you're not signing up for like this is not a contract that's 5 years. You're signing up for a lifetime contract, hoping that it doesn't break. And obviously through the contract, it gets renewed. Different agreements get stapled into the relationship and things of that nature. But the overall relationship is for the long haul. And if I can't see you into my later years, if I can't see you into my elderly years, then what's the point in us even having a relationship? So we have this business that's Love is a Group Journey, and it's about the journey of love. You know what I'm saying? So who better to do it with than a friend? You know what I mean? And I see that she has skills. I see that she has talent. I see that she's like where I'm very creative and willy-nilly, she's very sensible and she's very organized in that department, which allows me to be grounded. And without me respecting that about her, the relationship doesn't, and the friendship and the business, all of that doesn't transcend into something positive or something healthy because I don't see her strong suits. And in reverse, I think a lot of our arguments is based on my strong suits because my strong suits is dealing with faith and dealing with optimism and dealing with being
the things
positive.
That you can't really see. So like, well, I'm stressed out because we have deadlines and we have things to approve and I have this long to-do list. He's chilling, right? Because you believe that you automatically believe that we have the tools in place to get it done. Yeah. And although I know that we have the tools in place to get it done, I'm still going through the emotions of it and the motions of it. And I had to learn how to put a pause on that as well and take a page out of your book because not everything needed to be so dramatic. Not everything needed to be so stressful, right? Yeah. There's things that you can't get everything done, so you have to figure out what you're gonna get done and deal with it that way, right? So, and communication, like there's times when we had deadlines and again, that to-do list is really long and I could only get to the first half of it. Before I used to not, I didn't say anything. It's just I would either
take it out on me because you're so stressed.
So like either A, I killed myself to get it all done, or B, you said okay.
Yeah. No, I said okay. I'm agreeing.
Oh yeah. Excuse me. Okay, you don't kill yourself, but like okay, but yeah, like I kill myself to get it done, and then you're paying for it in the back end. Or I don't say anything and you beat me to the punch. You ask me, hey, did such whatever get done? I'm like, no, and I'm on the defense because it didn't get done. But I had to learn that. When I couldn't get everything done, I had to come to you and say, hey, be realistic about what I could get done. Like, I could only get the 10 things done. And then I'm also giving him choice because then he can say, you know what, we still need the other 10 to get done. I'll take on some and I'll get it done as well. Yeah. And I didn't realize that I was also taking that away from him. And that because it was my task and it was on my to-do list that I had to do it. But when you have a partnership, you realize that things may bleed over and you may need the other person to come help get things done. If you guys it needs to get done regardless, right? So by me not saying anything, it just hurt the group anyway. Definitely. So you learn how to really make sure that you're communicating, even when you're not even falling short. When you can't get things done, is not I'm falling short. It's the responsible thing to do to say, hey, I didn't get this done. I may need help with this.
Definitely, and
with this.
And anybody that's used to coming up with things in their head, innovating, really seeing how to fill the gaps, really seeing what needs to be created, really seeing what solutions you can bring to the world. you tend to do it on your own. When you have a friendship and when you have a partnership, you kind of that's still like a secret part of your life, and you're so used to getting it done. But now when you bring somebody in, my thing was to be more organized, to organize my thoughts a lot better so I can bring Jerry in. So I had to learn how to take from her organizational skills and actually acquire some organizational skills of my own by really thinking of my thoughts, really organizing my thoughts, really even being able to put my thoughts on paper and actually saying, I'm now working as a partnership, and that part of my life is not just mine, it's both of ours. And I have to fill her in and bring her in because she's a part of getting this done. She's a part of making sure we can get it done. And I have to ultimately believe that she can actually enhance the idea or enhance the thoughts and enhance the things, because this is where we came together. Like, you can choose anybody to be your partner in business. You can choose anybody to be your friendship in life. Your friend in life, I'm saying. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you're not just choosing anybody, right? You know why you chose this person and why I chose her to be a business partner. Aside from being a friend, is because she had a skill set of organization. She had a skill set of, how to really run a business and how to keep people on task and how to lead in that department, how to manage. And I needed to respect that. She knew how to manage and she knew how to bring all those things to the table. And when she was telling me that she needs to understand where I'm coming, I'm like, it's common sense to me. And instead of belittling her or belittling it, I had to understand that because it's common to me, because I've been thinking about it for the last 2-3 days, it's not common to her because I need to bring up the speed of what I've been thinking about. So that's also taking that time and having that patience and really having those agreements and realizing that's something that's not a strong suit. It's not something that's a strength, it's a weakness. If I'm just innovating and not bringing somebody in on the process. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was big on helping our business thrive and helping
the relationship
in general for the business, because it's the most important thing of any business or any personal relationship is the relationship.
Yeah.
Like, if the relationship is not great, the business takes a hit. If the relationship is not great, the friendship takes a hit. So when you're in you're in a business with a friend, you got to realize what's the most important thing. Not destroying the friendship. It's the most important thing. And not allowing the business to be destroyed based on the fact that you got y'all have personal problems. But now we're talking about business, so you got to be able to compartmentalize.
Well, yeah, so I get the issue with mixing business with pleasure is not the business with the pleasure. It's people being self-aware. It's people being willing to hear what the other person has to say, because like we talk about all the time, like I can say I know myself, right? But you know things about me that I don't even know about myself. You know what I mean? Like, you pick up on things that I may not be aware of.
Definitely.
So it's really being open to have those discussions with the people that you are going into business with. It's about being self-aware, being able to take in information, being able to understand who you're dealing with, being able to put your emotions to the side, because emotions are fleeting. So if Aziz, like you said, he just said about it not being so common to me, but common sense to him, I'm already feeling away, so I'm on the defense when I open my mouth anyway, after he says what he says. Instead of explaining to him, hey, I really don't get that. I don't really think of it that way. So that you can also say, hey, you're right, let me break it down in another way. Definitely. So it's really important.
I think the reality is that, you looked at it as a feeling, but it was a right.
It was a right, yes, but I know.
It was a right.
Yeah, you're right.
You had the right to know.
Yeah.
So the feelings when feelings come into play, we can downplay, okay, there's no feeling in business. This feeling is in everything.
There is. It's when
there's
you're
a way
not being rational.
It's a way to rationalize those feelings. Like, the reality is you was right. So you had a right to feel the way you was feeling. And I had to now look in the mirror and say, okay, she had the right to feel the way she was feeling. So come back to the table and say, listen, you know what? I can be more organized. Listen, when I start the idea, I can start running it past you so we can go through the idea together. We can sort through the idea together, and it can be the best idea possible, not just what's best for me. And I think it's best for the business, but what actually is best for the business, what actually is best for both of us.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that's something that in business we can transfer over to our relationship as well, our friendship. So that's where the important thing is. If you're in a business, like when you say don't mix business with pleasure, you need to understand mixing a friendship with a business is making it one unit and making it one understanding, and having an understanding that the friendship is important, their friendship is the most important thing. The business is the second most important thing. And at the same time, how could they coexist before you actually enter the business with a friend?
Yeah.
And yeah, through trial and error, we figured it out. But at the same time, we need to be prepared. We need to be prepared, and we want to prepare other people. Understand what's the most important things before you sign up.
Absolutely.
Understand what's your priorities before you sign up. And if the friendship is the priority, make it a priority. And if the business is also a priority, make sure that you have an understanding that though the friendship is the number one priority, the business may be the number one priority at certain times, and you're organizing it correctly so it's not destroying the spirituality of the relationship.
Yeah, make sure that you guys are effectively communicating at all times. Even if something may sound off the wall in your head, it may sound crazy, you should just say it so that you guys can sift through it and have the conversation.
Yeah.
Because it's really important. When you keep things inside, it breeds resentment. Things start to get hostile. Then you start resenting going to work with that person. Like, it just becomes a thing.
Definitely.
And
you start to question.
Yeah, you start to lose sight on why you even started the business with the person to begin with. So, and be real. When you're thinking about going into business with a friend, think, could this person be a really good business partner? It's like living with a friend. It's like, could I really live with this person? You know what I mean? Like, things change when you kind of cross that line. It's one thing when you're going home, I'm going home, and we all good. But when we all together, are we gonna be as healthy? Same with business. When we come together, are we gonna be as healthy? And I think
be a healthy exchange.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's gonna bring a whole other person, a whole different dynamic to the relationship. And that's what you need to be honest about. Having fun in the club, having good times, all those things doesn't transfer over to a good business partner. Definitely. You know what I mean? So that's the things you need to remember. Like, just because somebody's fun, yeah, exactly, doesn't mean that they can actually be somebody that you can really go hard with to start a business from the ground up. We're not saying that you're getting some franchise and it's the framework is already there. We're not saying that. It's from the ground up. Are you prepared to go the long haul with this person? And that's what you need to ask yourself.
That's definitely what you need to ask yourself. Are you ready to really invest your life into being intertwined with this person?
Yeah.
Because it's going to
finances, all types of stuff.
Yeah, it's going to really, really decide whether y'all are going to be friends. It's going to challenge, are y'all truly friends, and are y'all able to be friends and coexist in this business and this friendship together for the long haul?
Yeah, because the integrity transfers over, right?
Definitely.
So if you're shady in the business relationship, I'm already second guessing. I'm looking at you like, damn, how were we even friends?
Definitely.
Like how do we even get here? So yeah, it's really important to be honest about that as well.
So just know, anytime you start a business with a friend, you're putting the friendship at risk. So make sure that
it's worth it,
and make sure that you really start the business side of it with somebody that you really believe in.
And also make sure you guys share the same goals and have a plan. Like, you don't want to go and say, like, if we don't succeed as business partners. But the reality is, if you had to make a choice, you guys should be on the same page on what that choice is going to be.
Definitely. So this is another Message on the Move.
Yeah, I'm Jerry.
I'm Aziz, and we're the LoveSnobs. Enjoy.